Well, happy day, everybody. It's Auntie Tommy Jane coming down from an overamped state. It was the result of multiple stressors that we've got under control pretty well. Now all I need to do is get the motivation I need to pack up for the road, because we're going away for tomorrow for a week. Trying to make some money in Riverside, California, and around there. And I guess I need to like lay out some facts about me and my friends and family, my spirit family. That these idiots, these cartoon characters, these chicken shit anonymous keyboard commandos and sanctimonious, psychophantic, semi-sentient sacks of septic sludge, septic sewage sludge. There it is. It's too much. I mean, they're none of them are capable of rational argument at all, at all. I mean, we'll get into it a little bit because I'm not gonna spend my time tossing word salad at these idiots. If they don't know how to read and comprehend it and respond rationally to it. I don't have time for that. This has been a bone of contention with me on these forums for years. This has been like the main thing that sets me off and makes me be a total asshole to make them run me off the board. I've been run off a lot of boards that I made them run me off. It's like, hey, you're full of shit, and just do what you're going to do. And they just had to ban me because they couldn't suppress. They couldn't ever defeat me in a flame war. You know, they said 10, 20 of them at a time, just one right after the other. Bam, bam, let's knock them down. And what finally happened was around 2009. I joined Thoughts.com, and I made some friends there, and I made some enemies there, and there's this element that is keying on me, that's like a rabid chihuahua chewing on my ankle. They're going off on everything I post, all the time, no matter what. And they completely derail the conversation about whatever the media was talking about to talk about me. Now this is, according to Eleanor Roosevelt, the lowest consciousness. The lowest social consciousness is people that get together to talk about other people. This is just like a waste of the social networking time and bandwidth on the social networks. You know, and in spite of, these people have been trying to make it impossible for me to have a stable base from which to post my news and entertainment media from my personal circle, my personal close friends, collaborators. You know, we're established hippie artists. You know, I've been around since the 60s. I have street creds going back to 1958. 4 years old, where I'm roaming around on my own on the street. Because it's safe then for little kids. There were big kids to watch out for them. And the adults were watching out for the big kids. You know, it was a community back then. Even in Chicago, downtown. 50,000 people living within a mile of me. 4-year-old kids safe to walk the streets. It's safer for me on the street than it was at home sometimes. Because I didn't have to be like the son of the boss in the military industrial family. I could just be Tommy. You know, my gender, I had to hide the female aspects of myself to be accepted in white male supremacist society. But I made it. I lived through it, and I'm able to be myself in a time and place where it's understood that some people are born this way, and people either accept it and become our friends and neighbors, or they can't handle it and they shun us. You know, why people find it necessary to harm us is something that only the Holy Spirit can answer. It's not something I didn't want to take any further than that. And these people are trying to harm me. And really, they can't. They're ciphers. They're insignificant little ciphers. And it's low consciousness. People who talk about people are shunned from most real-time social circles that aren't, I don't know anybody, tolerate. I haven't been around any kind of social things going on where people smack talk anybody. People are kind to each other, or they're not part of the circle. Even when they disagree about religion and politics and sexual behavior. I don't want to go too deep into the whole thing because I'm sure we'll run across it reading in a little bit. A short moment in my life that involved an underage female that really nothing of any serious consequence came out of it. It happened. Yet 35 years later, this is a reason to imprison me and hurt me. This doesn't make sense. I'm not unrepentant statutory rape. There was never any statutory rape. This was consent by somebody who was emotionally mature enough to make an informed decision. And she decided to invite me into her bed. End of story. It should be with most people, but these people have to beat me with it. Because they really can't argue intelligently about any of the issues that I'm trying to discuss, that they're derailing with their ad hominem attacks on me. And this has been going on for almost 20 years. Now, I've been threatening to sue, but anybody who really knows the law knows how stupid that is. For a lot of reasons, I don't really want to go into too much detail right now, but there's absolutely no point in going after anybody for copyright infringement unless, you're really making money off that copyright. And they're harming it by using it. I mean, if it's just a picture of me, it's not worth the expense. It's not worth the gifts that they rip. It's not worth the expense to track the asshole down, sue him in his own venue, fight with his lawyer for several years, and not really get much out of the deal except in order for him to stop it and him starting up again under another name. But you couple in conspiracy and harassment and invasion of privacy and altering the stuff and putting libelous, defamatory statements on it and shit like that. And it's still, going after individuals does not make any sense. What's going to happen is that now that I finally have it in writing from the police that they are not going to prosecute any internet complaint that I bring them, I'm having no trouble getting them prosecuted burglary. I should get in Linsky's face about the burglary. Because, okay, you're not going to prosecute the internet. I'm going to go back to doing my internet thing on my own decision. So, yeah, I hope I've started talking to the idiots again, but it's not going to be the same way it's always been. This is how it's going to be. If I respond to them much, short and sweet, if I actually put it in writing. Oh, that's the results on Sneasel's, on the search query on Sneasel. Okay, well, let's go see what's happening here. This is the Thomas J. Wasserberg. This is interesting. This is someone calling himself Aspertui. He doesn't like Samuel Collingwood Smith because he thinks Samuel Collingwood Smith is a fat cunt. He says, let's get back up to what they're responding to from me. Yeah, here was the last thing. This can of soda person decided it wanted to follow me. And here's how it decided to engage me. I just love how you got Jennifer AJ's video taken down simply because you're a butthurt spaz that can't handle the truth, which was all she was stating. Plus, she gave you a really good advice that you should really follow for your sake. And my response was, actually, I couldn't understand much of her mumbling, but she did make one very good point. You are all insignificant idiots nobody pays any attention to. So your opinions of me won't be seen by anybody but other dysfunctional adults. You're mean, stupid, self-loathing children on psych drugs, smack-talking people to bolster your self-esteem, and fill your empty lives playing video games in mommy's basement or fucking around in your school's computer labs. Pretty pathetic, actually. And then I posted, this is it. This is, oh shit, where's the citation on it? It was from NewYorkMag.com. The title of it, Kiwi Farms, the web's biggest community of stalkers. And that's what these people are. They're stalkers. And it's all based on, you know, whether they feel you're mentally well or not. If your behavior strikes them as being the least bit pathological, they're just on it. Mostly projections of denial of their own pathologies. Some real serious behavioral health issues among some of these people. We live in the age of the virtual pillory. Across communities like You Got Posted, the revenge Pornhub blackmailing scheme, or 8chan's doxing and raid board, whose server, Frederick Brennan, conveniently formatted after its admin was caught selling social security numbers, or Gamergate, the cringe-worthy breakup story that became a self-sustaining witch hunt against women in tech. A highly recognizable positive feedback loop of abuse and harassment plays out. A target gets dragged into the public eye. More people begin to abuse them, and that abuse escalates as individual trolls try to one-up each other. In the eyes of the mob, the target's life is a game, and the object is to screw it up as much as possible. The largest virtual pillory, and the one that best exemplifies its ethos, is Kiwi Farms, a loose community of losers, centered on a forum and 2 wikis, with some activity on Tumblr, Twitter, Steam, and lolcow chan boards, not to mention Facebook and IMGUR and a bunch of other places I see these slugs. They specialize in harassing people they perceive as being mentally ill or sexually deviant in some way. The Kiwi Farms community is obsessed with its own warped ideas about mental illness. Yeah, read Repentance and Bacterium. They're a real hoot. I'd love to see either one of them in an actual forum with somebody like Dan Carasi. It's justification for picking on Chandler. Oh, I didn't copy the whole thing. I didn't copy this whole thing for a reason. It went in deeply into their thing about Chris Chandler. But this is the final paragraph is where it's been. It's been, you know, it's all about the whole conflict is, you know, between, and this has been going. This has been the thing. It's that, you know, to give you some history, I've been trying to put real things online since 1999. We had been participating in the building of the skeleton of the internet since 1985 through defense contractors and educational institution boards that me and my friends were logging in on. Basically, we're the indie artists. And in the early part of the 21st century, first 5 years, I found myself in a crossfire between the hackers and the industry, you know, the arts industry. You know, and I was getting no support from law enforcement at all. The FCC is saying, hey, you know, we got no jurisdiction over inter-office communications. Well, it's, hey, that's somebody else's office just busting into my office without even knocking on the front door. So we can't do anything about that. And I don't want to go too far off into that because it's hard for me to speak coherently about that kind of stuff. I mean, I experienced so much madness in front of my eyeballs for the last 20 years. Like, it's hard for me to put into words. And sometimes it gets hard for me to keep flipping out from it. This last couple of weeks have been difficult, for a number of reasons. And one of them being that my meds were all screwed up. I've been smoking way too much tobacco and pot because I didn't have enough of the hormones, and I didn't want to be eating the tranquilizers. Anyway, this is the bottom line. Consider that across the forums there are multiple warnings to members to conceal their identities. For KFers, anonymity isn't a choice but a necessity. They know what they're doing is probably illegal, and that their anonymity insulates them from any consequences. That's the only thing that insulates you. They know their entertainment harms vulnerable people, which is why some of them felt bad when that one target hanged herself. But most important, they know that if their anonymity were compromised, their own community might eat them alive. This is a fact. And then this is what this Asper Chewy, I call him trolls, and he's saying, no, actually I'm just a patron at a zoo and you're one of the caged animals. Well, maybe that's the fence around you that you're seeing me through, Sonny. Here's Yellow Yam Scam. He's responding to, you seem to be oblivious to the fact that there are laws being broken to provide you with your Chuckle School. I'm sure, this was in response to the other one about asking me about the suit. I'm sure you'll discover just how well this lawsuit is working out when this site goes dark and Noel's mom starts whining about her boy being in prison. Sorry, I don't really give a shit about you, so I don't follow this thread, but whatever happened to us being CIA spooks, I never said that. The Beast's got some connections to Langley. That's pretty clear through Tom Madera. No telling what you guys have in the population of your zoo patrons. Oh, here's Alan Purdue. He's one of the this is funny. This is the delusions. This is their delusions of intellect and self-worth. Talking in this one. Is this really what you want to do for the rest of your life? Making empty threats, trying to sue Lyle Call, LLC, and site hosts, and then end up not doing it. Why would sue the police though? IDK law. Well, that's because you're like under 25 and stupid, poorly educated young man. If all you want to do in your life is just threatening us without taking any action to keep up with this merry-go-round, I really have nothing else to say. Well, that's pretty wise. P.S. Admit it, it's pretty wise. Alan, you need to understand that I'm an established artist. And globally recognized. Okay? And most people like me. And most people who don't like my opinions can argue rationally with me. And nobody gets like so obsessively judgmental over my little vignettes. Okay? I mean, like, so what? The dog liked to get her pussy wet. The Sabrina story is so totally distorted, I don't even want to do anything but say that here and now. But I'll respond maybe if I run into it in any of the things I'm responding to. But no, Alan, I have a life, and this is the least part of it. So if for the rest of my life I have to spend a minute or two a day threatening assholes like you and your board users, que sera. Admit it. If you actually gave up threatening, we won't laugh at you. And if anything, you could be a notable member in the forums. Well, I haven't seen anything in the forums I'm really interested in participating in. Come to me. My blog is at thoughts.com. TJ Tudor at thoughts.com. I'll be Tommy Jane Wasserberg at Facebook when the smoke clears on this latest bullshit. Come to me. I'm not interested in your board unless you want to pay me to be here. End of discussion on that, honey. And here's Smutley, another stupid fuck. He says, oh, you've been back less than a day and already having a big autistic meltdown. Did it hurt your feelings when the police told you nothing we do is illegal and you should just move on? That's not what they told me, honey. You should also apologize for triple posting, Thomas, or you'll be put back on moderation pew sooner than later. Smutley, take your head from out your ass and find the nearest sharp object and stuff it in your ass, son. You're just an idiot. Oh, someone didn't take their happy pills this morning. Yeah, no, sorry, can of soda is cyber stalking. And sorry, honey. Come to me elsewhere. Because I really don't have the time or inclination to be, like, arguing with idiots. Plain and simple. Arguing with idiots. Let's see what else they got to say. Nothing. Oh, here's some that are hidden because I don't want to see them. Yep, these fucking idiots. Let's see what the other idiots got to say. This is probably already 15 minutes long. Plenty long. I got packed. Okay, well here's plain and stupid. Is Tommy Tudor a fraud? Some say yes. I found this from 2010, and they're not cyber stalking me. And the person genuinely seems to be Tommy Tudor, and he warns us about people impersonating him. I now think that we've all been duped all these years by a sock puppet. Probably somebody being paid by the Rothschilds. This young man is a Marine who apparently had non-combatant billet in intelligence. And like George Carlin said, military intelligence is an oxymoron. This cloud is run by Tom Madeira, who was Air Force intelligence and an academy graduate, who was the chief operating officer of a very sketchy-looking company called Spiros Consulting, who will be named in this suit when it finally comes to be. Right at the moment, there's a civil rights attorney here in town looking at the stuff. Yeah, so he come up with this posting from another board that I forgot I got run off. I got run off a whole mess of boards. Most of the time because I made them, because they were assholes, and it's like, hey, I can be a bigger asshole than you. Just assert your bullshit fascist authority, your neoliberal fascist bullshit on me, and ban me, because that's the only way you're gonna, I'll be a nice person, but I'm not gonna be subservient to anybody, and I'm not gonna like indulge in rational arguments. It's pointless. Argue with a fool, and the observers can't tell who's who. There's a group called youthofdebates.org. Apparently there was some old beezer there that was like, and this I ran into with a lot of places, was, it'd be a lot of kids and one or two old guys that were kind of like telling the kids how to play. And I'm sure in a few of them, a lot of those guys were well, anyway, Ben, what's his name? At Thoughts, Owner Thoughts. His background check's real sketchy. It dead ends too easily, and the corporate structures he's built are just stink of the barn. So it's like, This is where it's at. I mean, I don't use Facebook at all. And it's recently come to my attention that a group of mean, nasty people with a lot of time on their hands, in other words, the AMPists, have possibly created a Tommy Tutor account to use a sock puppet to harass people and defame me by pretending to be me when they harass them. Yeah, this was in December of 2010, where I was getting chased around by these assholes. All over the place. I haven't built much of a profile anywhere because of this sort of behavior by degenerate forum junkies. The account uses the name Tommy Tutor from Greensboro, North Carolina, and nothing else. If anybody sees posts of any kind from this person, especially vicious stuff, I would be grateful if you would send me links. Any Tommy Tutor and it eventually turned out to be an imposter that they busted. Any Tommy Tutor you may see who is not also TommyWho70X at yahoo.com from Austin, Texas, isn't. I may snap and snarl a little on boards that permit it, but I don't persist and I don't go overboard. If you see anything claiming to be me, doing anything besides being my pedantic, usually interesting, sometimes funny, kind, compassionate self, being unusually enraged, please let me know. It is most likely somebody else pretending to be me. And this was in response to some talk about Facebook. And then he's, a look at his other post reveals that he was run off the board for being a dick. So maybe it's the Tommy who posts here. Who knows? Well, actually, what I did was I challenged them. So like, hey, just be nice and argue rationally, or make me go away. You're advertising as a public board for I forget what was the reason that I even bothered digging in. And I really am not that interested in, December of 2010 was a very, very bad time in my real world life as well, because my house was getting sold out from underneath me at that moment. So anyway, moving right along here, this is what does Tommy do with himself without Facebook? I don't want to read this whole thing. This is just, this is it. I mean, this is where they, let me see where let me get the admissions. Yeah, and these guys are all over the web watching shit. Let's see if we can find that admission. These are liars. Soylent Green. He sent me he says he sent me $2. No, he sent me 2 cents, and I returned that. Addie sent me 10 cents once that I returned. The PayPal doesn't have a minimum. I don't think so. Yeah, here's some stupidity. They added me to some PM chain in some group PM at Kiwi Farms, and here's Sneasel, who's one of the stalkers. Well, he was lurking in a PM the other day. I wasn't lurking. I went and saw what it was. Saw that I wanted nothing to do with it, and left the conversation. This is my main stalker. This guy's all over my shit. He's doing it electronically. And TPD doesn't deny that these people are breaking the law. They're just denying their willingness to do anything about it. And I have to go to court over that. I've been threatening individuals for years, and that's just silly. That's just jerking them off. But this is serious stuff. I have hosts that are not that are enabling this stuff, and I've got the police. And then I'm not the only victim. There are other victims that I may be able to bring in. His ban at Facebook should be over tomorrow. His last post was May 1st. How will he celebrate being back? Most likely with a long diatribe about why he was banned. No, it wasn't. It was somebody else's fault. Yes, it was. How this affected sales of his valuable stones, I didn't say anything about any of that. And how rich and full his life has otherwise been while being away from the computer. I wasn't away from the computer. I was just away from Facebook. I'm never totally away from the computer. The computer is a central part of my life. This is my electronic brain in the world. Excuse me. It's always on. I might not always be sitting at it. I have other workstations in my home, and I do a lot of things out on the street. We're now into 3 pages on this thing. Oh, this was just filed yesterday. Oh no, it's been around for a while. That's right. Come on, give me the second page. This is where the meat of it is. I just sent this to the cops in response to them saying they're not going to do anything. And here's within hours. No, this was like right about very quickly. Tommy is back on Facebook now, and so far has used the words fag and retard, both words that got him kicked off before. One wonders why he can't just abide by the terms of use for Facebook and not disparage the gays or the mentally ill. I hope no one reports him. And he used the Melbourne thing, and it's like, that's like, okay, let's all report it. And here's, next up is Dr. Hugh's erection. I reported Tommy. I hope they ban him again. P.S. He doesn't know that I'm one of his Facebook friends. I doubt that's true. Here's Soil, who is better known as Chandra Setyatis. What is it? I got it written down somewhere. Sakar or something. Works for the government of Kerala. Hacks from their computers. I'm friends with Tommy, but he has me blocked on all my Indian-looking profiles. Again, and your Nigerian one just got blocked, and some other one just got blocked. Some Ukrainian sock puppet just got blocked. Yep, I reported his first few posts for the offensive language he continues to use. They should just ban him permanently, says the man who does it from behind multiple persona management software. And this is where I broke my silence. I haven't said anything in weeks. Congratulations, the account is blocked and will be deactivated. The new account will be restricted to people that I actually know and only viewable by friends. The police admit to criminal acts but refuse to actually prosecute anything. Let me repeat that so you understand that. The police admit that you are breaking the law, but they refuse to prosecute mainly on the grounds that they don't really have proper jurisdiction. There will be a section 40, it's a Title 42, Section 1983, civil rights complaint filed with a motion to force a RICO investigation into AMD and all the sites on Max Tracker program, which is all these like troll sites, and they're mostly the criminal enterprises are all low like e-crime shit, you know, the Nigerian 419 letters and fake advertising leading to credit card ripping sites. You know, and just fish your credit card. They get you to want to buy something, and then just fish your credit card number, clean your ass out. We do all sorts of stuff, and then just how high on the criminal food chain they actually any of them rise. I don't really want to speculate, but I do think the court needs to look at it to see how high it does go. When Max's tracker program has a couple dozen of these sites where they're like, at very least, harassing people for the click-through revenue. Posting they post fake news and start claim wars and get a bunch of click-through. They get a bunch of revenue from the advertising on the site. So that's the least malevolent of it. There's people who are targeted, and I have evidence that I can show that there are people paid to be doing this. Something even happened in front of Golden, but he wanted to look at it from a different light. He didn't want to agree that that's what had happened. The day that Eddie Claret was supposed to meet me at La Cocina, and I was there and he wasn't, but then online he claimed to have been there and produced a screen cap of a photograph of a receipt from that day and time while I was there. It's like, no, you weren't there. Someone else was. I doubt that Madera or Bucket or whoever the fuck is behind that Bucket account at AMD was ever actually the diner over here, or Jimmy Webster in you know, this is all bullshit they're making up to try and troll me into making false reports. Same on first rodeo, boys. I'm old, but I'm happy. Okay? And I'm not going to let you people make me unhappy. You lack the skill. You know, people have been trying to do it for 20 years, and I've persisted. You're not going to see a big chip out here at any of these, ever. That's all. Show. That's all me, like, letting the adrenaline flow, and letting that chi just do whatever. I have better control of my chi than to let you people get me over the edge to where I can't, where I'm like, ain't happening. It's not happening. You failed. You mispraised me. And I'm going to destroy every single one of you, somehow, eventually. Or, you can make peace. Well, let's speak about that. You know, Israel, I have, you know, I probably should get up. Oh no, I don't know if I can run. I don't know if I can record and play something at the same time on this software. This person who calls himself Israel, he's always very polite, and he's asking about my well-being. You know, and it's like, hey man, I'm fine, thank you. And you know, I have a lot of troubles coping with the gender dysphoria. I mean, you know, this, you know, doing anything besides cope with the gender dysphoria is very difficult for some people, and I'm one of them. Okay? And you people are trying to make me angry for the fun of it. This is just like childishness that I can't participate in anymore at all. It's like I'm not gonna get into debates with any of these people by text. You know, that's just too much time and too much energy. I'll read the shit into the camera if it's worth reading into the camera. And that's all the Kiwi farms is going to get out of me. I'll even post this there for them. This is to them and to the AMBs. But they steal it if I post it to YouTube. They'll steal it on their own when I post it to YouTube. I'll share this straight to them. So I'll upload this straight to the Kiwi farmers if I can figure out how to do that. Because I think some of them might not be like really out to hurt me for all these stupid reasons that these people want to see me destroyed and run off the internet and thrown in prison and killed and stuff. This is just video game mentality. It's not real life. I feel for these children. Jenny and I were having a conversation about which, you know, she was asking where did the evil bastards come from. I forget what the news was, but it was something really awful. Something about bullying, some kid to death probably. It was something about 1 out of 3 kids playing online video games. You know, these multiple player games. Gets bullied. There's just these people that populate the chats and stuff that like to give people a hard time. I'll do that in another video. It's called the call-out culture. That was a big problem with Occupy. It's one of the reasons I backed well away from them quickly. Once I caught that case to force me off the plaza, they had nothing else going on that could hold me to it. But anyway, this is almost 40 minutes. I hadn't got to what the last conversation with Israel was. And he called and told me that they had obtained a laptop that they have no use for, and they wanted to send it to me as a donation, as a gift. Now they're going to like the hard disk drive. which is fine. I wouldn't use a machine if it had an operating system on it to come from those phones. No way. And it's going to be thoroughly looked at before I put an operating system on it. Make sure there's nothing in there. You know, the machine will connect to him, to a real person, if I need it to, through legal process. And this is an invitation to anybody who wants to come out to me as a real human being, and artisan who wants to join the Real Things Artisans Cooperative. That group is still up and active. I don't know who's going to administer it. Hopefully I can get, Harry is definitely coming on board as a working partner. We need some, she's already made her first investment. She paid for the incense, and now she's going out and paying for the organizer boxes that we need. Back on the road again. We're taking a week trip, and it's looking like really hot stuff. It looks like you can bus easily downtown Riverside without a problem. The Riverside Flea Market looks very good. Lady Jennifer is definitely going to hook up somewhere early next week. Tommy and Anissa will come right into them in Desert Hot Springs. We'll come land right straight there when we cross the border. We'll come see them first, and then go from there. Thing in Big Bear, I've got a couple of stores that are looking forward to meeting us. And I've got a bunch of trolls jibber-jabbering about me. And you know what, these people are like, this Jennifer J. I don't even know what she was saying about me. I have no idea. I couldn't pick any of it out. It was just she mumbles. And, but I did get the drift of how, she's saying I'm complaining about them stealing my art. They're really not. They're ripping gifts from my videos and defaming me with them. Little different complaint. But she's talking about this, they're stealing their art and yada, 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 and it doesn't matter because they're just idiots. The stupid people talking about other stupid people, that other people they think are stupid. And they're insignificant. People number in hundreds at the most, maybe some thousands of them, and you're talking about millions of users on the web. The biggest harm that comes from these people, for people that are like reasonably stable themselves, is that they foul our search engine results with all this weird media from Encyclopedia Dramatica and the LOL farms. But it's still not that important. I haven't looked lately. I've been too busy, but it doesn't take much for me to make sure that my shit ends up on top of the nonsense. There's plenty of like, oh, well, this is just people that hate him, and this is the person we're looking for. I haven't looked lately, but I can usually when I do, that's where it is most of the top hits are mine, things I want people to see. This here, I can't say too much about it because it's grown very close to here, like less than a football field away. That's very tasty. This is the strain is critical mass. The grower sells 3 strains. 5 for to trim, 10 for the bud that's, I forget how many weeks exactly. There's X number of weeks and it comes out one way, and more weeks and it's okay. So he's like $5, $10, and $15 a gram, and it's well worth it. And it's, you know, very close. And he was nice enough to give, because of all the bullshit that's been going on this week and some business I brought him. He was nice enough to give me a quarter for $20. This is the smaller bud from down near the bottom of the plant. That's what this is. It's very tasty. I mean, I was definitely overamped to the point where I was informing the people close to me that I was overamped and that I was like on edge, and I was apologizing for being so agitated and yada yada yada. Because there was just too much. It's 4:43. I have to pack up the front room. I have to do my laundry. Bathing would be nice. Just filthy. I need to shave down real good so I can wear some tank tops. And well, that's not too bad. See, it's not terrible, but if you're like standing up close enough, it's furry. But I'm not trying to, like, I'm an intersex person. I have a female personality, but I have male gonads. You deal with it. I do. Thanks for watching. Happy day. Bye.